Good afternoon and welcome to Zell's Podcast, episode 20. And here we are, so back again. I like to do these every year, and I told you guys the audio would be better because if you look at Zell's Podcast, episode 19, the audio was absolute cheeks, and I apologize, and I didn't feel like refilming or re-editing, but here I am now. Got the direct monitor on, the headset, we're all good to go. So you know how it is. Super excited. Cleveland Browns season is coming back. I usually enjoy doing these predictions and stuff, but you just never know what's going to happen, especially this year with the Browns, man. You just got to give our division all respect. Them boys are tough, man. Them boys are tough, but it is what it is, man. We're here. I'm back. We predict the Cleveland Browns regular season schedule. And I believe this is episode 20 of Zell's Podcast. I know I don't do these extremely often, but, I'm like a softcore journalist or a lightweight when it comes to, sports talk. But, I don't like to do it every day, but, I definitely like to dabble in it once in a while. So, I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. So, let me see. I'm a little scatterbrained here. What do I want to start with? I mean, honestly, I should just start with a quick overview of, how I'm feeling about this year. I mean, I originally wanted to do I was going to have JT Three Eyes or, someone else come on and just have a big deal podcast and all of that in my living room and have the mics all set up. But then I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll do a mid-season, thoughts on the team after about, maybe 6-8 weeks, maybe halfway through the season, because this team, it's just unpredictable. I mean, obviously we got, we finally got a quarterback in Cleveland, and that's crazy to say because we've never had a quarterback, it feels like. Baker Mayfield was close. He brought us hope, but, feels like we finally got our guy, but, still we don't know how it's all going to gel together, how it's all going to mesh. We don't know, Kevin Stefanski coaches football this Sunday, September 10th, week 1, Cincinnati Bengals in Cleveland, all right? Kevin Stefanski. I'm a big fan of Kevin Stefanski. I feel like he, put together some of the best drives I've ever seen in my life, ever seen a coach put together. You got Baker Mayfield in the backfield. Why you think we had to have 2 running backs? We had Baker Mayfield. He was a pretty good quarterback. I'm not going to lie. I liked him, but he his pocket awareness was just, I feel like he could throw the ball decently. It's just his pocket awareness and his mobility were not where you would love them to be for a shorter quarterback. But, I feel like Deshaun Watson, he's got great awareness. In general, he's just elite. He's just elite. I mean, 3-time Pro Bowler. You can't argue that. You ask me, he's probably the second best quarterback in this division. I mean, I guess really you got to look at the division real quick before I get into the season predictions and whatnot. Oh, and a quick side note. Happy birthday to me, 29 years young. Maybe I should put some audio or something, but don't really care that much. So I had a nice little birthday yesterday, nice little, went to the Guardians game, watched them get absolutely smacked by the Minnesota Twins, and it looks like the Guardians season will be probably over. I mean, we got about 20 games left. They're about 6 games behind the Twins. They've probably lost all the tiebreakers, so unless the Twins absolutely fall apart and the Guardians absolutely start playing out of their minds, this season is likely over for the boys. But it is what it is. I mean, it was nice to go see them. Happy birthday to me. 29 years young, so, always a blessing, always, it's an honor to, have another year, be here and be doing what I do. I mean, I enjoy it a lot, even the video aspect of it, it's all a lot of fun to me, so that's why I keep doing it. I don't care if I get 5 views, I don't care if I get 5,000 views, 500,000. It's just, I just believe it's an enjoyable thing to do in life. What better to do than create these memories, and whatnot. So, without further ado, I mean, I'm going to just do a quick overview of the season, of the division, rather. And, I mean, look, man, to me, I'm going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you got to respect every team in this division, bro. We got Mike Tomlin, who's, Super Bowl coach, Super Bowl pedigree, always has the team ready to go. I mean, you look at the Steelers. They are never under 500 or whatever. I mean, and every year that we think they're going to be, they never are. So this is just one of those wacky divisions where any team could be first place, any team could be fourth place. I mean, and then Steelers, what they got? Good defense always. T.J. Watt, all them boys. Minka Fitzpatrick. I feel like every time we play the Steelers, we're throwing at least one pick six to them. It seems every game. And then you just can't get around Mike Tomlin. So I mean, that's always going to be a tough matchup. This division, you probably want to go 4-2. Realistically, most teams end up going 3-3 in this division, but hopefully we could do it this year. And then we got Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they are just an unpredictable team. I mean, you got, of course, Odell Beckham. I hated Odell Beckham because he's such a lovable guy. It just sucks that he didn't work out here in Cleveland. You wanted everything to work out, but it is what it is. Some places just don't work out. He came to Cleveland. It just wasn't. In fact, people probably know I got my Twitter shut down for talking trash about Odell Beckham because I said he nuked the Browns. Jokingly, of course, but Twitter didn't. Well, it's X now. Twitter didn't enjoy that, my comments about Odell Beckham. And it was one of my many accounts that have been shut down, which is why you can't really find me on Twitter. I don't take it that seriously. I make new accounts just for fun here and there, but I don't really take Twitter too seriously. But yeah, Odell Beckham Jr., the Ravens. I mean, it's a hard offense to predict. They got Todd Monken as their offensive coordinator. Obviously, you got Lamar Jackson, who's obviously a beast. I mean, that neither here nor there. We already know what Lamar Jackson gonna do. We already know what he been doing. It ain't no surprise with Lamar Jackson. If they remain healthy, they will be an issue. That's why you just don't know. To me, it's either Steelers, Bengals or Ravens. Typically are the strongest teams. It just depends on which one of them can stay healthy. But you got Lamar Jackson, Todd Monken, new offense. To me, Todd Monken, not the greatest offensive coordinator in my opinion, but I mean, it just depends on how you feel. I can't say that I've watched enough of his offenses, obviously, besides the ones I've seen. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I mean, as we know, Baker Mayfield, he's a short pass, quick pass quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not necessarily a quick pass quarterback, but he's good at short passes. So we'll see if he can get the deep ball to Odell. I'll be curious to see how that works out for sure. But, the Ravens are a team that I feel like injuries typically just derail their season. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because of their very physical play style or whatnot, but we'll see what happens with them. So then you got the Cincinnati Bengals, who, I admittedly, all those years they've been my bandwagon team that I kind of like. My second team, I'm also a big Joe Burr guy. He's an Ohio guy. How can you really not like Joe Burr? It's kind of, he's just that likable guy, Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of people call them the Kentucky River Cats, but I don't know. I view it as an Ohio team. So, me personally, if Cincinnati gets a chip, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to accept that chip. I even have a Joe Burrow jersey. I know people hating on the jerseys. I just like them. I just think they're cool. I just think they're. I just think they're cool. But anyway, back on topic. Cincinnati Bengals. Look, their defense. They got a good line. I feel like their secondary is kind of shaky always. Every we had. The Browns have the worst special teams. I think the Bengals have the second best. Ravens probably have the best special teams. Browns always have the worst special teams for sure. But I feel like the Bengals offense is all going to rely, obviously, same like the Ravens. It's going to all rely on Joe Burrow, how far Joe Burrow can go. Obviously, we hope he's not hobbled on that leg. You want to get a good competition week one. See where really see where the Browns are at against Joe Burrow. Hopefully, he can move around and whatnot. But we'll see what happens. They got Joe Mixon, not the most craziest running game, but he's pretty good in the passing game. So one would assume the Bengals, this is their division to lose. They were in the, the Ravens have an MVP in Lamar Jackson. The Steelers have a Super Bowl coach. The Bengals have Joe Burr and Zach Taylor, who are Super Bowl tandem that have been to the Super Bowl. So can't hate on them either. You would think this is Bengals division to lose, but I feel like the Browns or the Ravens are going to give them the best challenge, which segues me into the Browns. Which, we have Kevin Stefanski, and I think people are saying he's on the hot seat this year. I don't think that should be the case because if you ask me, Kevin Stefanski is still one of the best offensive minds I've seen. But we'll see how he meshes with Deshaun and whatnot, and see how that goes. And, when you look up and down the Cleveland Browns, they don't really seem to have many holes, except just the fact that, look, bro, it's a beautiful day in Cleveland right now. It's about, 12 p.m., whatever. But the bad weather loves to come out on Sunday when the Browns play. So I don't know if it's luck. I don't know, whatever it is. We'll see how it gels. But I have a hard time being super confident in this division given the other teams that play in it. So, all that being said, I mean, but we got David Njoku, Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Elijah Moore should be a big upgrade. I still sometimes feel like we don't have much to stretch the field, but thankfully Deshaun Watson has that, like almost godlike pocket awareness and, mobility. And then he just seems to have it all. I mean, he can throw the ball. So, I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm usually more negative about the season, but this year, like especially last season, I'm going to be positive this year in my predictions as I segue to my Brown schedule prediction and their final tally. We got Deshaun Watson. I mean, you got to be happy about that. Like, that's my quarterback. Like, I feel like, we haven't had my entire life. I'm 29 years old yesterday, and we've never had a team like this. So this would be the year. I feel like this year or next year has to be probably the best window. If not, I mean, Deshaun Watson's still my guy. Like, trust me, win or lose, Deshaun Watson is my quarterback. I don't care how you feel about it. I've seen enough film of Deshaun Watson to never have to question him. It's just what's around him. So, like I said, he could, for all I care, even if we never win a Super Bowl, Deshaun Watson should retire in Cleveland. That's how hard it is to find a quarterback. And I would be so mad if Kenny Pickett is like an all-star and the Steelers just went from one to another, because it's like the Browns, man. Maybe it's just destiny. I don't know. But anyways, let's get into these season predictions. That was a quick overview here. What are we at? About 11 minutes here. Who cares? It's Zell's Podcast, episode 20. So hopefully you're tuning in. Maybe I'll do another mid-season one. We'll see how I'm feeling. But, yeah, so regular season week 1. Obviously, we got the Bengals at 1 p.m. at home. Let me see. Is this... Yep. Cleveland Browns Stadium. So, yeah, we got Bengals. I mean, look, like I said, this year I'm going to be positive, more positive than I usually am. Because the season is so unpredictable, the division is so unpredictable, I'm going to assume Joe Burrow is slightly hobbled. I'm going to assume Lamar Jackson's team and the Ravens are going to get more injured. And I'm assuming the Steelers' offense isn't like, and Kenny Pickett isn't going to be a Hall of Famer, So I'm going to just be very positive this year. So I'm going to start them off with a win against the Bengals in week 1. I'm just going to say Joe Burrow's, just getting back to game speed. He probably hasn't practiced much, so maybe with Browns, able to roll them up and get an easy win. Then we got Monday Night Football at Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, boy. Like I said, I'm just being positive this year, so I'm going to give the Browns another win against Kenny Pickett and the Steelers on Monday Night Football. I just assume that offense is not ready yet, and it'll probably be a low-scoring game. Some classic Browns-Steelers game, some 15-10 vibe, but I just hope that Steelers offense is not ready to go, and I'm hoping this Browns defense is able to really stifle them. And, man, this schedule is just not kind to the Browns this year, probably by design. Now we have the Tennessee Titans week 3. Although that last game was at Steelers, though. But I'll still take the Browns. Then we have Tennessee Titans week 3 at Cleveland Browns Stadium. I'm going to take the Browns again. Browns starting off 3-0, keeping it moving. I don't feel like the Tennessee Titans have that great of a quarterback. I mean, we got, Ryan Tannehill. They do have DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, the, one that makes it go, Derrick Henry. So, I don't know. We'll see. I just don't feel like they utilize their receivers enough or correctly enough. But we'll see. They could also be a standout team. But I got the Browns winning that one too. And then we got Ravens week 4 at home. Oh, boy. I'm going to take the Browns again. Browns starting off 4-0. We're going to beat the Ravens because we're at Cleveland Browns Stadium. I feel like that's always a hard place to play for any team, especially in our division. Except the Steelers. I feel like the Steelers they play better against us at our stadium, I feel like. But, the Ravens, I feel like we should be able to get this one, I hope. Although, Lamar Jackson early season, he's always hot. He always comes out hot early in the season. But I just hope that our defense, with our new defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, I hope that, these boys will be able to actually cover the field. And we got Juan Thornhill, our new safety from the Chiefs, Super Bowl safety. I'm hoping that we don't just bust the coverage every 2 seconds. So yeah, I'm already going a little bit too positive here. I got the Browns starting off 4-0. Bye week, week 5. Week 6, I got a loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Honestly, just, they are just like our team, but I just feel like they are very. Kyle Shanahan is like, I don't know. He's like a slight not I don't want to say upgrade from Kevin Stefanski, but he's like Kevin Stefanski on roids maybe. I feel like his offenses are very, very well planned, very well thought out, and his defenses always come to play. And I'm just gonna assume, it's kind of like the Browns versus the Browns on this one. It's just, you know, now we got Deshaun Watson now though, but you can't. The Browns aren't going to win every game, so I'll give the 49ers a win in Week 6 at Cleveland Browns Stadium, and then we got the Colts in Week 7. I'm going to give the Browns another win. I can't even recall the name of their quarterback, Jason Richardson or something. So they seem to be in rebuild mode. Browns should be not going to be easy. It's going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium, but should be another win for the Browns. Week 8, we got Seattle Seahawks on Lumen Field against the Seahawks. I'm going to give a win to the Seahawks. I like Geno Smith a lot. I'm glad he's being able to rebuild his career. Pete Carroll. I just feel like all the way over there, West Coast, Browns don't ever do good that far away. That's just going to be a tough game all the way in Lumen Field against the Seahawks, so I'm going to just take them. Then we got the Cardinals at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Last time we played them, I think we had Baker Mayfield, and they absolutely tore us to shreds. However, I believe their quarterback is injured, so I will take the Browns. In fact, Joshua Dobbs went there, so that must not be great for them. I figure by week 9, the Cardinals will either be entirely out of it, or they'll be surprisingly a good team. So I'll give Browns another win there. So far, I got the Browns at 6-2 going into week 10. So we got Baltimore Ravens, and I will give that another loss to the Browns. Browns are at 6-3. M&T Bank Stadium, hard place to play. Do I really need to get into it? I assume by this point in the season, Odell Beckham Jr. will have went down by injury, but who knows? I don't want to wish that man anything bad. I really do like Odell Beckham Jr. I was just salty as a Browns fan because we lost him, or because he didn't work out with Baker Mayfield, whatever. So it is what it is. I believe if Lamar Jackson is still healthy at this point in the season, there's no way we're going to win this game. And then we got Week 11, Pittsburgh Steelers at Cleveland Browns Stadium. I'm taking the Steelers. So, Browns are now 6-4. I thought I was going to be more positive, but maybe not. Maybe that positivity will pick back up here, but I just feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers always play well in Cleveland Browns Stadium. Why is that? I'm not sure, but I just feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, them boys will never be nervous with that good of a coach. So, and then Week 12, we are at Denver Broncos. Mile High. What is this? Sunday, 4 o'clock prime time. Oh, that's a tough one. I want to make the Browns 6-5 against the Denver Broncos, because next week they're at the Rams. I think, I don't know. It's either Denver Broncos or Rams. It'll toss up. I'll give the Browns a win against the Broncos, putting them at 7-4. And then the following, because, Broncos country, let's ride. I don't know. It depends. I hope Russell Wilson will get better. I'm kind of a Russ guy. I hope Russ can cook. But I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. Then the following week, we got the LA Rams. Man, that's another team. I don't know. I'm going to give the Browns another win there because I just don't know how they're going to look. So that puts the Browns at 8-4, which, that's 2 away games. One at Empower Field at Mile High and the next at SoFi Stadium. These are also far away, just like Seattle. I don't think the Browns play that well in these faraway West Coast games, I'm not going to lie. However, I think given Deshaun Watson's pedigree, I don't feel like he will be rattled. I feel like the Browns do get rattled for some reason, or they're tired, whatever the case may be. Then we got Jacksonville Jaguars at Cleveland Browns Stadium. I feel like the Jags are a good team. I got the Browns at 8-4 right now. I'm going to make them 8-5 and give the Jags a win on that one in Week 14, even though it's at home. And then we got the Chicago Bears to be determined. But it's at Cleveland Browns Stadium. That's another win for the Browns. Don't imagine Justin Fields will be taking over the world anytime soon. And by that time, the Vikings will likely have a handle on that division, I would assume. We'll see what the Packers do. And then week 16, we got Texans at NRG Stadium. I mean, I would assume that's another win for the Browns, given the Texans' history, given they're running C.J. Stroud this year from Ohio State. You want to see him do well, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that goes for them. No telling, really. So I'll give the Browns that win, leaving the Browns at 10-5, and then we got Jets and Bengals as the last 2 weeks. This is probably going to be make or break the playoffs, and this is where I'm going to be very positive. And I'm just going to, say that, we play the Jets at Cleveland Browns Stadium, and I'm going to just give the Browns a win over the Jets, putting them at 11 wins, and I'm going to give them a loss to the Bengals in Cincinnati, assuming Joe Burrow is still there and healthy. And I'm going to assume at that point the Bengals would have already handled the division. Well, let me say first, I feel like the Jets, I'm not sure how they'll be doing at that point, but I'm just going to be hopeful and say we beat them at home. Against Aaron Rodgers, though, who knows? Because this could be the last 2 pivotal weeks of our schedule. And this is a Thursday night game. These are the last 2 pivotal weeks of our schedule that might determine whether or not we get into the playoffs. So I'm going to hopefully say we beat the Jets at home. And then we got the Bengals at Cincinnati. Considering we beat them week 1, assuming Joe Burrow is healthy, assuming they'll have a handle on the division, I'm going to say we lose to them at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. Bringing the Browns to, that's it. And the playoffs will start. So, bringing the Browns to, I've got them at 11-6 at the end of the year. 11-6, I feel like is a very positive record. I'm hoping they can get there, but we'll see. And we have a tough division that would probably either place us second or third in our division, and probably place us 5th, 6th, or 7th in the wild card seeding, one would assume, because Cincinnati will have the first, seed. Baltimore or Pittsburgh, who knows, will have, who knows, that 5th, 6th, 7th, or the Browns could have that 5th, 6th, 7th seed. So, it's going to be a year, it's a tough schedule, and we'll see what happens, man. But, I got the Browns at 11-6, and that's my predictions. That's my light, quick prediction video for the Browns. So thanks for stopping by Zell's podcast, man. I hope you enjoyed my predictions, and hey, go Browns this year, man. Let's go, man. Let's go. Go Browns, man.